All right, welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since I received this, what I'll call a sponsorship, I suppose. I was contacted by this company, LEDMIRCY, that does rock light kits for trucks and cars and UTVs. And they were really nice and super patient with me, and nice enough to send me this kit to test out, to install, to document the installation, and then also give my feedback on what I thought about the kit. The problem is it took me about 4 months or so to get the kit installed, to find time to put things together. You'll see the installation. Actually, it's pretty easy. And the way they have this set up is pretty modular, so it makes it easy to install. As I'm unpackaging everything, you can see that everything's kind of separated out from the wire harness kit. There's extender wiring that comes with it as well. So if you need to go a little extra further, there's, I think, 2 extensions that come with it. It's got a switch. It's got like a little transformer. Everything seems to be completely watertight. The one thing I noticed also was that the back of the light pods themselves have some kind of like solid silicone or something on them. It's very, very watertight. These things were through all kinds of hell as we took it through Hatfield. And then I've pressure washed it numerous times and haven't had not one issue. First thing I noticed right off the rip, the actual lights themselves are aluminum. They seem super tough. Truth be told, I hit one of them with a small sledgehammer, and it didn't crack, it didn't break. I just wanted to see if it was going to handle rocks hitting it, because it's up under your fender wells. I hit it numerous times, and it held up fine. It still works. All right, so first thing I did was lay out the kit itself, which you've already kind of seen. I have a little electric board that I picked up off of Amazon. It's usually covered like this, but it's nice because it's got even more inline fuses here. This allowed me to just quickly test the kit first before installing anything to make sure that it did what I wanted. One of the things that I noticed was when you push this button all the way, it turns them on. If you want to cycle through it, you do what I would call half pushes. So you'll see once it's got power to it, it doesn't do a full click. You can do like a half click, and that'll cycle you through the different options of lighting that the kit comes with. Right off the bat, just to test them out, I just kind of zip tied mine up to the frame itself, to the cage, and plugged them in. I didn't run any, you can see that I still have like the zip ties and things on there. I didn't run any of the wiring properly. I just put it together so that I could test it. After getting your seats out, which is the first step, so remove your driver's seat and your passenger seat. This is the tonneau cover. It sits down. You've got both of your seatbelt straps that come up through here, or your seatbelt buckles, I should say. You're gonna push these boots through these holes. Same with your shifter boot down in there. You're gonna push it through. Then you're gonna pop these clips out, and these go into the side here. And then there's, I think, 2 on the side and maybe these 2 in the back. These are T40s, I believe. So you're gonna have like one here, and one here, and then one on the other side there. Now that we have the tunnel removed, you just kind of, all the bolts are out, you just kind of pull the thing out, put it down on your machine out of the way. Now we're going to start running the wiring, and I'll show you how to do that, or at least how I decided to do it. So it's kind of a mess right now, but what I did was I took the main harness that it comes with. So you got this metal box right here. I'm probably going to screw that to this plastic here so that it stays in place. But I took this main harness and I divided it into 3s. So each corner has 3 LEDs. There'll be 3 run over here, 3 here, I'll be running the front down the tunnel and then out to each side. So what I do on the rear side here, I'm going to run all of these behind the seatbelt, so you don't want anything to get entangled in your seatbelt itself. So what I'm going to do is I've run them all through the opening there, and then I'm going to zip tie them down to the bar, to the frame itself, and then probably coil up whatever leftover wire that I have here and zip tie it into a nice tight cluster so that it's not bouncing around or making any contact with the battery. And that will come out, these will come out right through here, which is basically a small opening in your tunnel that allows wiring to go in and out. And it should be the same on that side as well, but you can see that I've run them behind the seatbelt and out that opening back there. All right, so here's what shows up in the package. You're gonna get these guys. I think it says 6061 aluminum, so that's pretty impressive. Looks like pretty solid coating of either silicone or something on the back here, but it's clear. It's got a good tight seal around the wires. That's pretty good. These will then screw into the ends that you're trying to put together on the machine itself. You find your groove right there. You line that up with the groove inside of this, right here. Put them together. Try and get a nice tight fit. Don't over tighten it. Just enough to where it seals. That should be good. These then attach to here, and then it gives you multiple routes to run your wires. You can run your wire through here, this way, out, whichever way. You could probably even put this straight down. I prefer running them out the sides. So when I put it on, it's gonna come out the side there. This is how I'm doing it because I'm not actually gonna be using the hardware that is supplied with the kits, which is a pretty good assortment of lock nuts. They look stainless, and then also Allen head style bolts. So I'm not going to be using those. I'm going to use a zip tie approach for these because, as you can see, this is rounded, and mine is setup is going to be going on the actual roll cage itself, or like the frame of the side-by-side. So you push this through here. It only goes, the zip ties that I have are long and they're pretty thin, but it's only going to go so far. I grab a pair of pliers and I just pull it on through until I got about that much. And now you can twist it, rotate it, do whatever you need to do with it once you get it on the cage itself. Push it through. It comes out the other side. Just like that. And that's basically one of them. It's all set up, and I'll go put that on the cage. All right, so before we run the wires for the front down the tunnel, what I did was I tape them up. So I just threw some electrical tape up around here and then around it real quick. And then normally what I do is I start at the end of some wire loom that I have, and I just kind of feed it in through there. So they are both fairly even. It'll make it a little easier to zip tie this and then push it through the tunnel. All right, so to the passenger side of the ride, you can see that this is kind of where it comes out. I'm gonna try and stay away from those, what I think are coolant lines down there. So, right there. All right, so everything's kind of a mess, but because it's half together, but I will show you guys what I ended up doing. So you have the two things that need to go through the firewall. One is this little guy, which is kind of going to be a pain in the ass because normally I would just fish separate wires through, and as you can see, I'm pretty much maxed out on anything else I can put on this thing. It's borderline getting to be too much at this point. So I'm going to be upgrading the stator and all the other stuff that goes along with it, right? But that being said, what I did here was the two things that have to go through the firewall are this switch, which I'm actually going to put up here, similar to how I did it last time. What I did was I actually cut a small groove in the top of the firewall where this fascia meets it so that I can pass things through there. It's the highest point away from water. It seems to work very well. It's what I did basically when I ran out of ability to get through these grommets down here. This is the main one that I haven't really used a lot, but you can see what I did was I ran the wire that is going to connect to this harness right here. I ran that down there, so it should be down there. I'm gonna go through and find that. The next piece that I'm gonna do is run this switch through here. I don't necessarily like this switch that it came with. It seems like it's metal though, which is kind of cool. It's pretty tough, but I'd rather have like the standard toggle switches that come with all the razors. You know, they just fit and they're easy to put in and they're easy to reach for, especially when it's nighttime. But that's okay. I'm gonna try this out for these guys, see what I think, see how they hold up to the trails, and kind of take it from there. Okay, so what I ended up doing was putting a bunch of wire loom around these 6 lines that are going to the front. I didn't want them down there. I was trying to get them up here, but unfortunately there's just no way to get those wires through there. It doesn't look too bad that way, but when you come around to the front and you start trying to get your hands in here and even find it, I even ran a fish line through it. I had a really difficult time. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna run the wire loom to here. I'm gonna cut it off because I don't like the way that looks blue. And then I'm going to bunch these together and I'm going to tie them to the frame, and then they come up right here, and then I'll be cleaning this up too. So right now, first step was just making sure I had enough line to get to everything. All right, we're starting to get there, starting to get things cleaned up a little bit. I just kind of brought it around and wrapped it and put it up under my roll bar, or on the cage, attached it to the cage. I left the nubs on the wire, the zip ties, so you can see exactly how many I had to use. I put the little panel, the little box right here. I've run this guy to about here. That's about as far as it makes it, but there's plenty of this that comes from the on the other side of the firewall from the relay. Anyway, this part is gonna make it all the way to there, but you're probably thinking, well, how are you gonna get it in there? All I did was take a step bit right there and make a hole big enough to get that through. And then I'm going to slide the tunnel cover on, not all the way, route that through it, and then attach it underneath, and then zip tie it to these guys right here, so everything is nice and tight and taut and not anywhere close to that spinning drive shaft that's down there. You definitely don't want anything near there. You can see the final version of my wire loom down there. It's pretty tight. I've got a good amount of zip ties and things on it. That's the best way I could see to install it. All right, so I've got the tunnel in there. I've zip tied it down here, and it's already through the front part of the tunnel. The wire is already through there, is what I'm trying to say. I've also included the link to the exact kit that you're seeing me install down below, so you can go check that out as well. There should be a discount code in the description as well, in case you would like to purchase it and save a couple percentage off. That's there too. So this is the last of the last. Time to clean this stuff up. I'm putting some connectors on their wires because you can't just have that sitting there. So I'm gonna clean that stuff up. But before I do, I went through and I took the step bit and I drilled that out. Same bit I used last time. I just took these screws out over here and there, right? And I took those out enough to where I could lift it up without breaking anything, and I could get the step bit in there and ream that out just slightly. You don't want to open it up too much because sometimes you do get mud and water up here, obviously. But then once I got that through, I fished it through down here. This still needs to be tidied up, by the way. My line down here. Same with this. I'll be zip tying it through, but I brought it in underneath there, up and around here, and I just took some two-sided foam, and I got the 3M stuff. It works really well. You just put some alcohol on your plastic surface there, wipe it clean, and then you can just kind of mount that there. That's what I did. I'm hoping, it seems pretty sturdy, so I think it'll be okay. But yeah, I've got a bunch of wires that I got to tidy up still. So that's pretty much the end of it. I guess I never really turned it on for everybody. So pretty dang bright. Looking good. I think I will eventually put all three on in the corners. The only reason I didn't do it right now is because I'm actually going on a trip tomorrow. So getting everything ready to load it up here tonight. But yep, came out pretty good. It's pretty bright. Show you guys real quick how to do the clicks. So half clicks, you can kind of see like I'm not fully pushing down. I'm just doing half clicks. I've also included the link to the exact kit that you're seeing me install down below, so you can go check that out as well. There should be a discount code in the description as well, in case you would like to purchase it and save a couple percentage off. That's there too.